talk about is distinctions between two very common things that people usually interchange with one another that should never be interchanged. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Both jellies and jam are fruit mixed with sugar and pectin, but in jellies the fruit comes from fruit juice, and in jam the fruit comes from fruit pulp or crushed fruit. Generally speaking, ravens are much bigger than crows, 27 inches in length versus a crow's paltry 16 inches. Ravens have diamond-shaped tails, whereas crows have a much more rounded tail. Crows sound like this, whereas ravens have a much deeper call. If you're in doubt, you're probably seeing a raven. Stalagmite, stalactite. Centripetal acceleration in physics is the acceleration that pushes objects toward the center. This is always the case! Centrifugal force isn't a thing in physics. In fact, sometimes it is called a fictitious force. It is incorrect physics to think of things as fleeing the center of something. Buffalo are either from Africa or Asia and look like cows, whereas bison are from America and look like this. Okay, I know that some dictionaries added the definition of figuratively to literally, but that's because we as a people were so dumb that the dictionary literally had to change the definition of literally to mean also figuratively. World, I am disappointed. Literally means, in a literal manner or sense, exact. I am literally recording myself, whereas figuratively means metaphorical or departing from the literal sense of something. I am figuratively going to kill you if you use literally to mean figuratively. Although to be fair, I may also literally kill you. I'm not going to dive into gender theory in this video because it's much more complicated than I can actually cover in this video, but in essence, sex is the biology that is assigned to us at birth. Gender is the identity in which a person experiences the world. It is incorrect to say that my gender is male. Initialism is when you shorten the title of something to just the beginning letters of each word. An acronym, though, is when those letters spell a word, and you can physically say it. An example of an initialism is the NSA. Examples of acronyms are NASA, SCUBA, and LASER. Now, Danny, I bet you know the difference between a hard drive and memory, but for all of you out there who get confused by gigs and megabytes and HDD and SSD, here's what it comes down to. Memory is temporary storage, whereas hard drive is permanent storage, or as permanent as you're going to get on a computer. If that's just too a little abstract for you, think of your kitchen. The memory of a computer operates very similar to your countertops, whereas the cabinets in your kitchen operate like your hard drive. Effect is almost always a noun and affect is almost always a verb. That should help with about 95% of the cases in which you're using the words. If you're still unsure of which word to use in which instance, you replace the word with a verb and see if it still makes sense. My favorite verb to use is kill because it makes for some really interesting sentences. Let's just start by saying that due to the equation for gravity, when you have objects that have mass, you have gravity. Math break! In order for something to have no gravity, you would either have to have no mass or no distance between the two objects. Go ahead and show me two objects that satisfy either one of those conditions, and I'll allow you to say that there's no gravity. What you see in space is actually due to a constant free fall towards some massive object. So instead of saying 0g, it makes perfect sense to say weightlessness because the objects in free fall have no weight. This doesn't mean that they don't have mass. They still have mass, and this is what makes gravity still exist. So there you have it. Hopefully you have learned something. And Danny, I will see you tomorrow.